It's scary. Like,
now, there's been a lot of talk about them needing to add receiving threats across from Deebo Samuels.
Henry Ruggs would have been a great selection. C.J. Henderson would have been a great pick.
Do you think they'll come back to that at the end of the first round when they select their actual pick?
They'll have time. But Kinlaw, you got to take him. When you get guys who can disrupt the way he can, and it's just a great story. And he's going to be great in that locker room.
And that's essentially what the team was built on last year, so you just kind of keep that same energy pretty much. And they lost a lot of reserve guys around the Buckner, too. They lost like 3 or 4 rotational guys that really played a lot for them.
It's true.
So you need to get somebody. All right, with that, we move to one of the hardest picks to mock.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I literally spent like 4 hours on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers pick. I literally spent like 4 hours on every single NFC South pick. NFC South has no direction. None.
Cool. I got some direction for them.
So we send it over to Tampa Bay, live from the golf course. We have Warren Sapp on the line.
What? What's up, guys? Tell Lincoln Kennedy I said he could square up. I'm the greatest Raider of the early 2000s. Let's talk about it. Guess what? His best days were when I was in Tampa Bay. Stay mad, homie. By the way, do you even talk to your son? Your son's a whole ass NFL tackle, and he don't really acknowledge you. We gonna talk about that?
Lincoln Kennedy's son is?
Zach Banner is his biological father.
I didn't know that.
But he has an adopted dad, and they don't really talk. They weren't really, his mom and them, they weren't really cool, so he wasn't really in their life like that. But you can't pretend like you didn't get all your damn genes from your 6'9" father. So yeah, there's that. Anyway, with the 14th pick in the draft.
I feel like Sapp probably has one of those sons too, honestly.
And a couple Chargers, but that's another story. Now, some might say, well, Tom Brady's there. Should they just get a quarterback to back up that spot?
Do they go tackle?
Jordan Love could be there. Tackle would be a surprising get. Receiver would be great, but it would be an embarrassment of riches, honestly. Like, and they're trying to trade.
Corners situation, their secondary situation is kind of
trash.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think they take one more swing at another Florida corner. But this time it's different because he actually runs a legit 4.4 and it looks pretty good. The Buccaneers select cornerback C.J. Henderson out of Florida.
C.J. Henderson, the consensus number 2 cornerback from pretty much everybody. Henderson's a guy who ran a sub 4.4 40 and caught a lot of attention as many people question his speed heading into the combine. He answered all those questions.
And his tackling ability, but it's fine. He can cover.
And as far as team fit, you know, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a culture of always having defensive backs with swagger. Henderson can bring that, and as you alluded to before, he's not Vernon Hargreaves. So
he's definitely not Vernon Hargreaves. Third, he's better. Oh man, I almost want to do this pick.
All right. With the 15th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, our sound guy's out of control right now. I don't know what's going on.
Sound guy's on drugs. He's watching the Tiger King documentary. Carol Baskin, you bitch.
And with the 15th overall pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Henry Ruggs III.
Oh, shit.
Receiver.
Sorry, that was the collective sound of the rest of the AFC West. That is a perfect fit in Denver. Henry Ruggs, mile-high speed. You got Sutton on one side. You got the tight end from last year. 4.51 speed out of Iowa. Killing people. Going to be even better second year. You got Drew Lock. And now he has a big arm quarterback in Drew Lock and incredibly fast Henry Ruggs, who doesn't have to come in and be the number one receiver, but he will take the top off that defense. They're building something in Denver, and now the Raiders should be very afraid.
And
because they can't cover anybody.
What do you say to people who have questions about Ruggs' production and, his size?
He didn't drop a lot of passes.
To the next level. Do you think this is too high for him at 15?
I mean, he didn't drop. I think he only dropped like one pass last year. It's not like some people are saying he's like Darius Hayward-Bay. Don't insult him and compare him to Darius Hayward-Bay. That's cheap and it's lazy and it's intellectually dishonest. He'd be one of the best receivers in the country on any team. He just happened to play at Alabama. And he's not Ted Ginn Jr. He doesn't play volleyball at receiver. Ted Ginn Jr. would be a great corner. A great cover 2 corner. You'd never have to put a safety over the top because he's fast. He wouldn't get beat, but he would never catch the ball. Or he might catch the ball. Who knows? But Henry Ruggs, that offense, perfect for Denver.
All right, and now we send it over to Atlanta. We have on our line right now, Future. What's the pick?
Weezy out of here. Don't make me mad, okay? You know what time it is, man? I can't do a good future. All I know is ATL ain't going nowhere.
I never miss a loss.
Never catch a loss.
All right, with the 16th pick in the 2020 draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Baby Future.
Caleb Vaughn chasing that boy a dog. He a tiger, but he a dog. Edge, speed, we coming back. Quavo, fuck with me. They're gonna make it back to the Super Bowl. Make it back to the Super Bowl.
And I've got insight
that
that Takeoff's giving the 2nd round pick. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah,
he's gonna actually say a word. But yeah, with this is a can't miss. This is a no brainer.
Or it could be. He could be a bust. We don't know.
The Atlanta Falcons obviously are in dire need of edge rushers, and although they've signed Fowler, and although they still have Tack McKinney, who they're kind of trying to get rid of, but nonetheless, they get I can't even say his name, Triston out of LSU. He was one of 2 players to be assigned the number 18, which is a number in LSU given to the player who essentially embodies their values and principles the most.
And leadership.
So
tore his ACL last year and came back strong.
So he has that leadership capability that the Falcons really need, as well as the athleticism. Now, he does need to put on weight, but he is a bit longer and lengthier than, let's say, a Vic Beasley, who they just got rid of. He's also more physical than, like, let's say, an Arden Key from a few years ago. So the Falcons get a player that they can develop into a Pro Bowl caliber edge rusher, so long as they don't, piss away his talent like they have the past 3 edge rushers they've taken. But nonetheless, like I said before, I don't know what the whole NFC South is doing, honestly. So with that, we move to Dallas. America's team is now on the clock.
I gotta tell you, in my mock draft, it kind of blew up my board a little bit.
Really?
At least for the Cowboys. Because C.J. Henderson's gone. And I don't think they're willing to gamble on a corner at 17.
Mom.
And I don't think they're ready to get Sean Lee's replacement just yet at linebacker. But I do think they're ready to shore up those safety spots. They're going to go to LSU, but not to get who you think. I would have said Christian Fulton. But realistically, Grant Delpit out of LSU, safety, perfect fit for the Dallas Cowboys, and he would want to play there.
I mean, he essentially moves into the Byron Jones role, right? He's going to be competing with Clinton Dixon for that deep safety role. Probably also play some slot corner.
Play some strong safety.
You know, I personally had him falling one more pick to the Dolphins. You know, I kind of had him being in what they always hoped Minkah Fitzpatrick would be, but obviously that didn't work out. Nonetheless, it's a good pick for Dallas. I also considered him when I was mocking them for Dallas because, as you said, it's a natural athleticism and scheme fit, and they have a team need there. So I like the pick a lot for Dallas. I still, you know, would like to see them add some more receiving weapons, even out of the backfield or also at tight end, at receiver. They also need some retooling on the edges after losing Robert Quinn, and they lost a few of their interior defensive linemen as well, which they replaced with Gerald McCoy and Dontari Poe. But I would still like to see them kind of address that later on in the draft. But in terms of upside, you don't get much bigger than Grant Delpit. He ran a sub 4.4 40. He can play all over across the field. He had a breakout year 2 years ago. There's some questions with his tackling this past year, but
he had a messed up ankle the whole year.
He did have a messed up ankle the whole year. So we'll see how it all plays out. But potentially, if he reaches that potential that we all expect him to reach,
Jamal Adams, better than Jamal Adams.
He could easily be one of the best players, one of the best picks in the draft, if not the biggest steal, for sure.
Speaking of steals, at 18, the Dolphins have their quarterback of the future. This one feels like a slam dunk.
And with the 18th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select
Uncle Luke, sit your ass down.
Mekhi Becton, offensive tackle, Louisville.
Thank God you didn't overthink this pick.
The Dolphins finally did something right. Hopefully they don't trade this one away in 3 years, but
can't keep giving away all your left tackles.
Becton has the athleticism, he has the length, he has the strength, he fills the position of need, he gives Tua his blindside protector. He's an instant starter at left tackle. He has the feet and the body for it. He still needs to refine his body a little bit. He needs to tighten up his core, get a little bit stronger. But ultimately, the things that he has in terms of footwork, in terms of length, can't be taught. So the Dolphins got themselves a player who can both contribute right now as well as develop into a potential all-pro at left tackle.
Perfect pick.
And with that, we move to the Raiders at 19 now.
God damn it.
This is the second pick of the Raiders draft. The Dolphins also made their second pick of the draft just now, but the Dolphins previously selected Jerry Jeudy at receiver. That need is filled, or is it? Because
the Raiders took Jerry Jeudy.
That's what I said, yeah.
You said the Dolphins.
No, I said the Dolphins also made their second overall pick. Their second pick of the first round.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so the Raiders already addressed their need at receiver. Or did they? Are they going to take another one? There's still a lot of high-caliber receivers left at this pick. And with that, we go to Las Vegas.
Woo! Okay.
With the 19th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Oakland Raiders select the Las Vegas Raiders select Patrick Queen.
Wow.
Weak side linebacker out of LSU.
Not Kenneth Murray?
No, and here's why. When you look at these two guys, they're essentially 1A and 1B. It really just kind of comes down to what your preference is. Both have sideline-to-sideline capability. Murray brings more in terms of production, considering he's been a 3-year starter. Queen really just came on last year as a starter, but that's not really his fault, considering, he was only playing under Devin White. But even when he subbed in for White, he showed flashes. So Queen is the pick here. He gives them a weak side linebacker who can both cover, shore up that linebacking core, and really help them cover all those different tight ends and shifty running backs that the AFC West has. Because that's really what the Raiders were missing last year on defense was
a tight end eraser.
A tight end eraser, really, and they've been missing that for years. So now they finally addressed their need at linebacker. They already got a high caliber playmaker on offense. Now you go out and get a high caliber playmaker on defense. And if you notice a trend from last year, yeah,